Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Paul Gagan. I am a computer science student studying here in Dublin, Ireland. I myself would be considered a blind developer, although I am not fully blind. We're getting there. So I get a lot of questions from people asking me how do I, manage with software development and all these different things that I do. I do networking. I work with like a lot of switches and stuff. So people are always asking me, how? A lot of people don't even know how I use a computer in general. Forget actually make things to run on said computer. So I just really wanted to sort of make a video that hopefully people will watch and then understand. So the first thing here is if you cannot see or if you have limited vision, even if it's just to reduce eye strain, the first thing you're going to need is a screen reader. So the one that I use here, NVDA, I just brought that up by using caps lock and N. This is non-visual desktop access, which I believe is actually made by two Australian guys who are blind themselves and programmers. I believe they wrote it in Python, if I'm remembering correctly. And this is honestly the best option that I found. There are ones like JAWS and the built-in one that's on Windows. I think is it Narrator? Yeah, I believe it's called Narrator. And JAWS is like €1,000 / dollars, pounds, whatever you want to say. So I'm good. Like, I'm not gonna pay the price of a PC for that. Like, it's not happening. NVDA is free, and honestly, I don't think that JAWS is better than it. I could be wrong, but it's been a few years since I've used JAWS, so I don't know. But NVDA gets the job done anyways, so that's what I use. So how this works, so obviously don't really navigate around using a mouse. I have a mouse here, whatever, but my primary sort of way to navigate is with the keyboard. So usually that's with the tab keys. You can just tab to go forward, shift tab to go back, and then the arrow keys. Obviously I only have one column here, so I can't actually go across to other rows. But yeah, just arrow keys up and down. This is the same with websites. If I, open up Firefox and open up a website, I can just scroll through it like that. It can be a bit of a pain, but there are different shortcut keys and whatever. So yeah, most people probably don't care about that, but felt like I should explain that so that you can really understand how this all works. So what do I use? So for programming, literally, Notepad++. Weirdly enough, you might be like, well, why don't you just use regular Notepad? A lot of the stuff from Notepad++ is actually to help you visually represent things, or, auto indent, which I hate actually, because, if I'm sorry, some touch typist. So, if I'm saying printf, whatever, and then if I press enter, it'll auto indent that many tabs again, which is kind of annoying because it doesn't actually tell me that it does it. So if I'm working with somebody else and I push it to to GitHub, then they'll be like, yo, this formatting is trash. I'm like, yeah, that's why I don't. But for whatever reason, I've really taken a liking to Notepad++. I've never actually used its stuff for HTML or anything like that, even though that's supposed to be really, really good. And I used to just use Notepad, and I was looking, for different IDEs and stuff. Atom didn't work, Sublime didn't work, all these, different things. Eclipse does work, but Eclipse is honestly a bit more than I need. I'm currently mostly using C, so I didn't really feel like using Eclipse. I do actually really like Java. Java is probably my favorite language, but C is what I'm currently using in college. So obviously, yeah, Notepad, you write your code, and then just simple command prompt for compiling, which is nice because, I can just use GCC or Java C or just Python to compile 3 different languages, which is really nice. And obviously you can do that with more languages. Those are just the 3 that I use. Those are the 3 compilers that I currently have. Obviously, respectively, C, Java, and Python. GCC, people are probably like, oh, what's that? Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. It's just for C. So yeah, literally all I use are these 2 things. Just command prompt and Notepad++. That's it. I'm a touch typist, obviously, because looking down at the keyboard if you can't see very well isn't very helpful. I will admit this is like my third time recording this because I've messed it up a couple times. And every time I've tried to like, hash include less stdio.h, and then, I actually did better this time. So all the other times I've made typos, which I've been like, oh no. There you go. So, just a very basic outline for a C program. Obviously, not meant to be like, oh, this is how good I am at programming, because this is like hello world sort of stuff here. So, but yeah, that's literally what I use. In terms of networking, I just use, again, command. If I need to like get IPs or whatever, or ping things, I use command prompt, and then I use putty. I actually don't have that on my desktop. I have that on my laptop, but I have a like better GPU on my desktop, so I said that I'd record on this. But yeah, I just use putty. Putty is actually super accessible. It works really well. I've never had any problems with this accessibility on putty. So it's pretty good. In terms of version control, as you can tell from my desktop, I have both the GitHub desktop app itself, and I also have Git Bash. If you're not familiar with these, it's basically you can upload your code, if you will, so that you can keep track of the versions and you can share it with other people. So, if I'm working on something and if somebody else is working on something, we can both, what we call, push our files to the main repository. And then we can both access them, and we can see the previous versions of the files, and we can merge them together so that we can put our changes together. But I presume that if you're watching this video, you already probably know that. So yeah, honestly, my setup's really simple. It's usually just command prompt, notepad++, and then Firefox for googling all the questions that I don't know the answers to, because life of a developer and all that. If you're wondering, well, you're using Windows, but how's Linux? I can say Linux is actually pretty good in terms of accessibility. I've used it. It comes with an inbuilt screen reader called Orca. Orca is okay. I tried to get a couple different speech packs and stuff to work with it, but it wasn't very... It just wasn't really working very well. I think I was using too new a version of Ubuntu. I was using like 19.04 and 19.10. And I think it only worked with like 1804. So I never really got around to fixing that because it was like mid-semester or whatever. So I'll probably have another go at that during my summer break or whatever. And I'll probably post about that. But yeah, at the moment, I literally just use basic Windows 10 setup with NVDA, Notepad++, and command prompt. So I hope that answers a few questions. If you do have any questions, my Twitter will probably be linked below, and probably my LinkedIn. If you want to have a look at some of my stuff, go visit my GitHub, but there's nothing really much up there at the moment, just college assignments, and most of them are pretty basic. So don't get too excited, or just post it in the comments. So I hope, as I said, that this has answered some questions, and I should hopefully be posting some more videos. So thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you all next time.